If you have ever been struggling to balance to stay on top of client messages while still feeling like a human and having that personal touch, well, you're in the right place. Today, we're going to be talking about how to be responsive, but not feel like you need to be chained to your inbox all day. Like, we're not here for that. So we'll talk about how to streamline your client communication so you're not feeling that inbox 24/7 feeling while still keeping your relationship strong. Hey tech enthusiasts, welcome to the Tech Fuss Made Easy with myself, your girl, Tanesha Halstead. If you are new here or whether you're returning, I'm Tanesha Halstead and I am actually the founder of Virtually Centered Solutions. And we really help small business owners like yourself to create exceptional customer experiences by implementing tailored marketing tech solutions, such as using things like Google Workspace, your CRM system, and having that wraparound service of virtual assistant support. Today's focus is all about client communication. And when I actually started working with Virtually Centered Solutions, and hooray, we got the clients, but I tried to respond to every message instantly. And it left me feeling exhausted and dare I say distracted, because I would be going from, maybe a focused time of working on a project to responding to email, then bouncing back. But then I realized that implementing a CRM would allow me to manage client follow-ups automatically. But I love to remember that I'm actually still talking to a human on the other side. So I like to have personalized touches. So when I thought of automating client follow-up or communication, I go to things like scheduling emails. Maybe you're setting up reminders for the call so people actually show up. And those type of things actually became impactful for me and my clients because they still got to feel value. But then I also started to release some of that feeling that I was in my inbox 24/7. So today we're going to get into 3 key points. So the first key point is use automated yet personal follow-up. So one of the best ways to streamline client communication is by automating those repetitive follow-up emails. But here's the key. You want to still make them personalized. And when we think of making them personalized, it means thinking of the tone or maybe the brand voice that your business has and being able to infuse things like that. So I know some business owners, they're okay with saying hey to their audience. There are some that are very formal and they want to just say hi. Maybe there's a certain keyword or phrase that your brand uses that you want to infuse into those messages. Maybe it's just how you talk, like, consider like having fireside chats, or if you're talking to a girlfriend or a biz bestie or someone you're meeting at a live networking event, what does that conversation look like naturally? I think that's sometimes what we're missing, thinking what it looks like naturally and sharing from that perspective. So I'm going to hop over to my other screen so I can actually share with you. So one of the things that I love is that if you're using a CRM tool such as Zoho CRM, what it does is allows you to create templates that autofill with client names, project details, just as a simple way to personalize. But one of the features that before we get into even personalizing, creating these automated follow-ups, is thinking through what our workflow looks like. So a feature that they have inside of Zoho CRM is called Blueprint. And it's literally what it's called, Blueprint. It allows you to visually think through your problem, think about the solution, and then think what are the touch points that are needed for that client communication. So I'll hop over to this screen so you can see, like, maybe they're starting with you filling out a form. Maybe you're going through the qualified phases, negotiation. And of course, this is a simplified view, but think of your business process and what does that look like? Like, for instance, you see here, they added a few things, like instead of just start, you're whitelisting people, you're qualifying them, you're negotiating, and so on and so on. And so before we even get into automated, let's think of what that actually looked like. So efficiently following up with clients, I wanted to share this because it talks about like some of the best practices when you're automating email, or what some of the things to consider. And then last but not least is actually taking into account, again, a workflow of maybe someone schedules an appointment with you. When they do that, this happens. If they don't book, then option 2 or condition number 1 happens. So those are some of the things to consider while you're setting that up. And I just wanted to share a few of those so that you can see that there's multiple ways to create follow-up for an activity or in a record. Now, I'm showing you from Zoho CRM, but consider that best tool is the tool that you'll actually use, and think about your workflow and how you can automatically create a task or send an email. If you want to put an entire process in place, that's when I would think of really using something like how I showed you earlier on, like blueprints, where it allows you to visually see the flow. And then you can, maybe even put notes in there on what will be automated. Is it that it's going to auto-populate their email or their name? Or maybe there's multiple fields in there that you want to automate. So imagine being able to set up a whole sequence of follow-ups for new clients that go out automatically, but they sound like you actually wrote them one by one individually. And that's the magic of personalization plus automation. It's all in the details. So now we're going to move into point number 2, which is use scheduled communication tools. So I know it's important to set boundaries with your clients, and you want to be able to create expectations, or maybe you do. I know I don't. I don't want to set the expectation that I'll be replying to emails at 2 a.m. in the morning. Now, don't get me wrong. There's moments where the sleep pattern's a little off, and I may be up and I'm like, you know what? I'll go in and I'll look at emails and things like that. But that isn't the norm. So tools like Google Workspace allow you to schedule emails to go out at the right time. And the right time could just be your working hours. The right time could be within the time zone of the person you're sending the email. So even if you're not at your desk, you can set these times and it'll allow your email to go out. It keeps your clients happy and it lets you take control of your time as well. So I'm going to hop over to my other screen here. So if you're inside of Google Workspace, there is the feature to be able to schedule an email, whether it's on your desktop or you're using it through your phone. So if you're on the desktop, you go in, you're composing the email like normal, and then you go ahead and hit this little button here where you can click to schedule the email. So I'm going to scroll down just so you can see a little bit of an example. You hit here, hit schedule send. Then you can go ahead, you could pick the date and the time. If you have done it for a previous email, the most recent time will be there, but you could also choose to override that and pick a different date and time. And then what happens is once you schedule it, it'll now be sitting in the queue awaiting the appointed time to send the email. You can also do it from your phone as well. Be able to click schedule send just as you would on the desktop as well, and be able to pick date and time and be specific if you'd like as well. So the beauty here is that not every message needs to be sent instantly. And if you're working late at night, schedule that email for the morning. You got to respect your time, and your clients, they also get that consistent feeling of communication during business hours. I'm also a firm believer of setting the tone. So we actually have a little blurb in our signature that says, emails typically get responded to 24 to 48 hours. Now, there are times that it goes a little bit past that because we're all humans, and let's face it, sometimes there's an influx of emails in the box, or maybe life is happening and there's a little bit of a delay, but still it also sets the tone and allows you and your clients to feel happy, and it allows you to take control of your time. So last but not least is point 3. And this is about using templates for those frequent responses. So if you find yourself answering the same questions over and over, then it's time to really create some email or message templates. So I thought of two ways to be able to do this. So today I'm actually going to show you inside of Google Workspace, and then I'll talk about the other one just in general. We won't necessarily do a screen share, but I'll talk about that. So once you're inside of Google Workspace, you can actually create templated email. So say for instance, I'll give a few of our examples. So there's a couple instances where maybe I go to a networking event and there's a follow-up sequence. Maybe there's an introductory email, maybe there's an email if we didn't get to schedule a call, or say for instance, it's a proposal or something that goes out. There's templated messages so you're not repeating, or I guess starting from ground zero. You're being able to customize when needed, and then also personalize as we're talking today. So making it feel like you're just not sending something generic. But the beauty of it though is it's still cutting down on your repetitive work, because you're not starting from ground zero, overusing your brain to process, how do I even reply to this and XYZ? Especially too, as you build out your team, the idea here is that you will have some of this framework in place that someone can assist you with. So in looking at my screen here, you can see that inside of Gmail of Google Workspace, you can go in and compose your email just like you would normally. And then what happens is if you go down to those three little dots, there'll be an area for where you can select templates. You can choose either to insert one that you've already created, or you can save as a new template. So really the information you're seeing here is they just created a draft email as if they were sending it to a recipient, a client, if we're talking in this world. And then instead of hitting send or even scheduling, you're going to create a template, because this is something you would use with another person. And so the beauty of this is even if a new email comes in and it's not something you're initiating, you're responding to, the template is there. So you're now able to go down to the three dots, hit on templates, and then all of your templates would be listed out. Maybe a pro tip I would say here is labeling them in a way that will allow you to, with quick reference, know exactly maybe what the sequence is linked to. So for instance, one of ours, we actually have a library of a few templates, and one of the sequences, I should actually say, it labels it at the beginning 7-day dash whatever, 14-day dash whatever. So this allows you to quick at a glance, be able to see what part of the flow it is, and you're able to click on that template and use it. And really having these go-to library resources or responses for you're building out your frequently asked questions, or maybe there's common client requests, meaning that you can spend more time focusing on that creative work, or I should say passion work, instead of retyping the same emails over and over again. Now, another tool that I considered sharing for this is also ClickUp. So we use ClickUp for project management and really just task management in general. So when you're in a phase of creating maybe these templated emails, so say that you create a task inside of ClickUp, there is a way to be able to add maybe the body, the subject, what the body of the email should look like, any specific things that need to be updated. Maybe you highlight them in a color. And so whoever's assigned to that task, then they're able to not think from scratch and not come to you for everything. They have a template in place. Again, this is cutting down the repetitive work of you retyping the same emails again and again. And let's face it, it keeps it professional and, dare I say, consistent. So just to recap, we've gone through 3 simple ways to streamline your communication without sacrificing your personal touch. We talked about automating where you can, setting those boundaries with scheduling. I laugh because I struggle with that as well, and using templates to save time. I think that ultimately, as you go through this, your clients will feel the love and you will, dare I say, feel the freedom. So if this video was helpful to you, I want you to go ahead and hit that like button if you feel compelled, and are looking forward to our other videos, you can subscribe for more tips as well. If you have a question about client communication, drop it in the comments, drop it under a video. I love to chit chat and see how we could support you. So as always, I want to thank you for watching. Stay enthused by tech, keep exploring. And as always, I'm cheering you on. Love y'all.